and welcome everybody. This is your host, Learbach, and you're just in time for more DarkSiders. In the last episode, we did a fetch quest for money so that we could pay off Volgrim to give us the Earth Collar. And we also bought a move. If we hold back an X while targeting an enemy, you can actually fly into the air. And actually, that's what it actually looks like. This is what happens if you hold the button down. Because when you hold the button down, you do that. There's a move we can actually buy from Volgrim that's similar to this move, but a lot better. Let's just say, you know Link's spin attack? It's like a vertical version of that. Only you don't have to charge it. But anyway, in this episode, we're going to activate this gate. It always concerns me when the gates don't immediately activate, because it takes a few seconds for it to register. And this guy is freaking awesome. So this is actually a very interesting thing that they touch upon this in the second DarkSiders game, but not in this one. This guy here, neither angel nor demon. He does not belong in heaven nor hell, nor does he belong on Earth. He's actually from a different world. And we'll be running into a bunch of guys like him. And we'll be running into, I believe, one other guy that's not a gate. That actually... It brings in a lot of question into what this world... They don't mention that they're from another world. I think they hinted it a little bit, but they don't really outright mention it until the second game. And you find out, oh, they are from a different world. Wait a minute. Why are they on Earth? And why weren't they mentioned in the intro? And it's very clear that they aren't demon or angel, because you know what the angels look like, you know what the demons look like. You kind of get that general design and vibe from them. But you don't from these guys. They look like something out of Tolkien. In fact, one of the guys will be running in. The other guy that we'll be running into is basically a giant dwarf. I know that sounds weird to say, but I mean, imagine like you know how World of Warcraft has their dwarves, like red beard, Scottish accents, kind of stout, pudgy but bulky looking guys. Imagine the same thing here, but they're big. But they still look like dwarves. Like, next to War here, War is about twice as tall as a normal human. At least a bit taller than a normal human. You see how zombies are. And even though they slouch, because they're zombies, they still, like, War basically towers over an average human still. These guys are, like, twice the size of War. Or at least the guy that we run into is twice the size of War. But he looks like a dwarf. Like he has like, the big bulky, the big pudgy bulk build of a dwarf. You could, for those of you who don't play World of Warcraft, you could probably use like Lord of the Rings as a fair example as well. And right here we have the Chaos Eater leveled up. So real quick, while we're in the middle of battle. Right there you see the rune. That is now glowing. That means it's leveled up to, I guess, level 2. I believe we can also find this on this. Yeah. See any info? Nope. We can view our moves, and any new moves get added to this list as well. So don't worry about not, like, if you forget a move you have, you can stick on the list and be like, oh yeah, that move. Back. Ah. So go ahead and open this chest. And we'll deal with these guys. And let's... So right here, in this little, I guess you could call it a micro dungeon, it's really just a room in a hall. Like this room in a hallway. Right there you can see a little thing. You can probably guess what that blue thing is for. We're going to be using it as a grapple point. Right there, we're going to... That's actually going to be saved for something that we'll be getting... Actually, in a short bit. I mean, it's actually something that we'll be getting... After this little spot we're done here, be fighting our first actual boss. Oh, whew. Excuse me. Had a yawn there. Had a yawn during that explosion. You never thought I'd get tired of seeing an explosion. This is just how I am now, I guess. I've been yawning too much during my videos anyway, and I don't know why. Right up there you can kind of see it looks like a yellow chest. I believe that's a special chest. That'll give us a core, or a core fragment, a wrath core fragment. Another thing I should mention, I didn't mention this last episode, you can buy cores and fragments from Vulgrim. They are fairly expensive though, and I think you can only buy a limited amount. But yeah, you do need to buy some of them in order to fully upgrade yourself. Another thing I will be mentioning, we will not be getting every single item in the game. I'm just going around right now because I kind of need money. Right up there you can see a special, if I can get this, I still hate this. Right there where the cursor is, you can see a special chest. We can't get yet because that red crystal with the spike ball on it, we can't activate yet. That spike ball is a bomb thing. Basically, imagine the bombs from Zelda. Again, making the comparison to Zelda all over the place. And the only way to get those is by picking them up and tossing them. And yes, that does require you to go into this form here. But real quick, before excuse me, before going too much further, before going that way, going into the center of that area with the chains, being bound by the chains, if you want to call it that. We will, and that's fun. That's funny. I've never had that happen to me before. I've fallen into the pits before, but I've never had that happen to me during combat. But right here we can see these little things hanging, these little voodoo charms, if you want to call them that. These little dream catchers, if you want to call it. Demonic dream catchers. Those are Vulgrim's, I guess you could call it a sigil. Those basically show you where a Vulgrim spot is, or the general area where one is, which this one happens to be right over here. And you'll see this every single time you unlock a new Vulgrim spot. Every single time. It doesn't stop. And do I have enough? Yes, I do. Okay, so oops. Okay, there I am. Had to figure out what I was there. So now that we bought the scythe, we have access to a bunch of moves related to the scythe that we can buy. We'll be getting one other item, if you haven't been able to guess, that we could use in combat. That once we get that, we'll be able to unlock new items as well. So now all I gotta do is unlock Bane, and I'll be using the Wrath moves all the time. So we hit down to switch between secondary weapons. We don't have another secondary weapon yet. Like I said, we'll be getting that later. Right here we have the scythe. So your main move is kind of like your heavy move, where your scythe is your specialized move. It's specialized in dealing with multiple enemies. This is what happens if I hold the button down. This is just pressing it normally. And you can chain move together with your weapons. Something that does carry over between DarkSiders in the DarkSiders 2, though the weapon system in that is a lot different. It's more like Y is your heavy move, is your heavy attack, whereas X is your light normal attack. But it's still generally the same. Huh. I did not know you could kill crows. That is new to me. That'd actually be worth it, just for the health. If you have if you just need to top off your health, if you can, assuming you can get to them. One major complaint I do have to make about this game, and I believe it carries into DarkSiders 2, if I remember correctly, about the aiming system here. You're gonna hear me just sigh every time I have to use it. So what's so bad about this, aside from the fact that, you know, you can't just do this and, you know, like a normal game would. They have to have a separate thing. This, so you know how I like having my control stick, you know, push up to go down, down to go up. I know it's a little weird. Left to go left, right to go right. I know it's a little weird. You know, I'm weird like that. You can't change this. Whatever you're stuck with, I'm pulling left. I'm pulling right now, and it's moving to the left. I'm pulling left right now. I'm pulling up. I'm pulling down. So while, yes, it's technically not any different from up and down, it's, well, when you need to fine-tune that, imagine fine-tuning this. Say you gotta move up. What button would you push to go up? Well, you'd go up. Oh wait, no, I'm pushing up right now. Makes no sense when the camera's not moving, doesn't it? Left and right, same thing. It is completely backwards. I do not know why they do not let you change it. I have checked the options several times. You know what? Just to make sure, I'm going to check the options again. Aim sensitivity, nope. Aim X, aim Y, that's just the sensitivity of it. Defaults, okay. Invert Y and X axis, that's only for the camera when it's not in that mode. Go into advanced options, nothing there. Display camera, yeah. At the very least, you'd imagine it should match. And I guess it does. But that's kind of the problem, is that they both need to be separate. Or they just need to get rid of that second...
Do you know what's imprisoned here? There are things even you should feel.
So we have this a-hole.
Once you were strong, but now you are weak and you are alone. The Destroyer knows of your coming. Even now, he
F the Destroyer.
against you.
F the Destroyer with a capital E. The capital E, F, F. I completely forgot I had that. Oh. You know, this guy's going to jail for committing a federal offense by tampering with the post office. So, right here, we have the Phantom General. This is our first major boss. I believe, and again, you're going to see me comparing this to later game, to the... There we go. I remember having to cheap shot this guy because he keeps blocking. But every time you kill a bunch of his guys, he keeps summoning new guys up. There's really only one way to deal with this guy, or two ways to deal with this guy. Either try and find him legit and just use your special move, your specials the entire time, or just, you know, wail him when you get the chance to use a cheap shot, which is what I had to do. There's I believe, a specific move you can perform that will actually knock them down. And or if you give them a good combo, if you give them a good combo, actually the scythe might actually work on them. Yeah, the scythe actually is pretty good. I think the scythe might break his defense. I'm not certain. He's on his last breath there anyway. Now, one thing, I made a mistake when I first did this puzzle. Actually, my first time playing this game, and my second time playing this game. The second time being the time I recorded it. The failed recording I mentioned. Let's see if you can guess what I do wrong here. So, you're supposed to grab this, and you move it in a specific direction.
The plumbing must be stopped up.
Seriously, that has to be the Joker. I'm convinced the Watcher is actually the reincarnation of the Joker. Like, this takes place in the DC universe. All the DC heroes die because, the apocalypse. And this takes place between, the current DC universe and Kamandi, which is, for those of you who don't know, Kamandi is like a post-apocalyptic Earth thing. Like, basically, back to the Stone Age. And this is the Joker's demonic soul. Only they rename him the Watcher because, come on, who would take someone with the name the Joker seriously? Anyway, can you guess what I did wrong here? If your answer to the solution is pull this towards the wall, you'd be wrong. Instead, you're supposed to head it towards the drain here. I didn't see the drain the first time. If you think I'm an idiot, welcome to the club. We have jackets, but you have to pay about a $50 fee for the jackets. Also, don't expect the jackets. And also, if you would just, put the $50 in a, write on a check, put it in an envelope, just send it to me, and we'll make sure you receive it at your local Kmart. Just go to your local Kmart around 10 a.m., wait for about 4 to 5 hours. We'll be there eventually. And for those of you wondering where I stole that joke from, look up Rebel Taxi. He does a podcast. They've made that joke 3-4 times, I think, on his podcast. They go a little darker than what I normally go, but they're still cool. They're still cool guys to watch. So here we have Samael, which I know of Samael from the Hellboy movies. Right, the first movie they mention him. The Hounds, the Sons of Samael, Hounds of Regeneration. I can't remember what the creature is called, but it's like one of the first creatures that Hellboy fights. For those of you watching, the dog that regenerates. I know Samael might be a biblical reference. No, this boss. Dungeons in this game are extremely fun. They are very Zelda-esque, and they're really well designed for the most part, except for one. One is, it's not that it's poorly designed, it's that it's very confusing to navigate. Because unlike all the others, it's a very asymmetric dungeon, I believe. You build up everything in a specific way. You go through everything in a specific way, but the way you get to each area, is different from place to place. I should have shown off the revolving spot here. Well, I did not realize you could fly to it.
Samael has returned you in one piece. He must thank you.
Real quick, let me go ahead and... Oh, we only have 100. Okay. One thing I want to make clear here. You're probably wondering about these things here. Well, I've already explained what life essence is. It restores Ward's health. Undying is basically a theory. or 1-up mushroom. Rage restores wrath, War's Wrath. But you can, right now we can only have one. Even if we had enough to buy a life essence, we couldn't buy it. The war wouldn't let us. That's because we need an empty vessel. I believe we can have like 6 empty vessels. 8 empty vessels. I believe, yeah, we can have 8 empty vessels. They get more expensive as you buy more. They're basically like bottles. And I just keep ensuring the Zelda likeness of this game every time I keep opening my mouth. It is amazing. I'm realizing how much this is a post-apocalyptic. This is probably the closest we're gonna get to a post-apocalyptic Zelda game. But yeah, now we have the power of whoa. Okay, that's here's Shadow Flight. This is gonna teach us how to use shadow geysers right here to fly up. We'll be getting into that in the next episode, but for now, real quick, before we end this episode off, I do want to get that artifact that we came across. There's one thing we can go back here and get, and I want to get it because it is such a close and easy thing to get. You know, it's gonna be like 5 minutes. 5 minutes here, 5 minutes next video. I'm trying to get to the point where I can do these in 15 minutes, but look, I'm looking at the time right now, and yes, I'm aware that, you know, I'm a bit past that point. Holding down the A button lets you fly down, and has some really interesting imagery. And I just realized I can go down here. I've never noticed this. This is not where I wanted to go, by the way. This is someplace completely different. But nonetheless, ooh, we get to see one of the special chests here. We have a Lifestone Shard. This is our skull that I was talking about. We get 4 of those, and we get a full other bar of health. I believe after you beat bosses, you get a full life stone. Much like Zelda. Yes, much like Zelda. And also much like Zelda, in just about every dungeon we'll be getting, you know, the dungeon item of the day. But unlike a lot of Zelda games, which is kind of weird, because I'm trying to think, I think Wind Waker might be one of the... Wind Waker and maybe Skyward Sword. You'll use just about every dungeon item you get from the point you get it onward. Majora's Mask might also be an exception to that rule, too. And I screwed that up. You gotta go really slowly if you want to be on that banister. I don't think you need to be on the banister to make it across, but I do so just to make sure. No, when I said this is gonna take 5 minutes, I was not kidding, was I? Wow. Again, be very, very careful. Just get over with. Just want to put that zombie out of his misery. Okay, so this would be incredibly hard to do on a keyboard, by the way, because you know you don't have the. Okay, double jump and hold the A button. For those of you wondering, I mentioned earlier about the imagery of falling down. Like, you cannot tell me. Yeah, not long enough for me to do that. You cannot tell me that does not look like somewhat symbolic of a cross. Like the way he has his arms held out, the way he has his legs together. I mean, he doesn't have his arms sprawled out, but I mean he looks basically like he looks like Superman did in Man of Steel. The symbolic. It's like they're trying to say something. And actually, in a weird sort of way, they kind of are. They don't mention, like I mentioned a couple episodes ago. Oh, I probably want to say that for the next episode. I mentioned I mentioned an episode or two ago about the Guardians and how they're not of the demons, angels, or Earth. They're from another world altogether. They touched upon in the second game. Well, that's the same for the Four Horsemen. They're from a fifth race that doesn't get explained until the next game. I think it might get explained in the comics. But yeah, you'd imagine like you guys, these guys are like some sort of like fallen angels or something like that, but they're not. They're like some sort of divine race. Ultra divine race. Like, I guess you could say proto-humans, but not really. But anyway, that's neither here nor that's for completely other Let's Play altogether. In the next episode, we'll be heading that way, beating the crap out of that guy that's mocking us. I see you there, flamer on the internet, wanting to start a flame war. Anyway, that was a bad joke. I'm getting a little bit off that bad joke. So next episode we'll be doing all that. Until then, I will see you guys later.